Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tacos Tuesday at 10, the last of the year. I'm starting late because it is the last of the year, and I wanted to give time for people to log in. That is not true. We are having an on-site here at Helium 10, so a lot of the team is here from product, and they're all in the offices. And I came in, and somebody was here in the podcast room doing a different webinar. So unfortunately, I had to kick them out. So that took a few minutes. So if you guys are just joining us, we're exclusively on Facebook today. And as always, we're going to go over a topic specific to PPC. And for this one, I've chosen talking more about sponsored display. So if you are a seller that is not brand registered and you're not yet running sponsored display, this is going to be really beneficial for you and hopefully give you some ideas in order to jump on that opportunity. I'm going to go over some case study information from data that we've collected this year from several users, and then actually going to end with an offer. So this is the last Tacos Tuesday again of the year, and next year, just as an FYI, we are moving to a once a month rotation. So obviously, we're not doing this on January 1st. That would probably not work out very well. So we're doing this the first Tuesday of February, which happens to be Tuesday, February 1st. So after this, there's going to be over a month hiatus while everyone's enjoying their holidays, and then we'll be returning on February 1st. So let us know where you're checking in from today. I like to see, where people are coming in from across the world. No, I am not yet on vacation yet, Jake. That starts tomorrow, maybe, depending on some sessions that are happening here in the office that I might want to be in there for. So, but yeah, we do have a kind of a set um, session in that we do have questions from users that we get ahead of time. And if you want to take part in that, we do have an email that you guys can use called ppcama at helium10.com, and which is on the screen. And if you have questions about the sessions that once I'm done, if there's questions that I don't get to answer, or you think of questions after the fact, you can also use that email. If you've got ideas for topics, then that is the email as well that you can use. So feel free. We're definitely collecting and been collecting those topic ideas the past few months, and we'll be looking at those in the new year and helping that guide a decision on the types of content that you guys want to see. Now, since they're once a month, we are going to be doing just a lot more. We're going to be putting a lot more into it, a lot more presentations, hopefully a lot more guests, and a lot more maybe even offers like I do have at the end of this session today. So as we do in the previous ones, we're going to start with some questions that were sent to us ahead of time. And then I'm going to go into the content. And if you have questions while I am going through the content, which is going to be about 30 minutes once I get into it, feel free to ask in the comments section. If it's relevant to the content that I'm sharing at that moment, then definitely something that I'll want to answer. If it's not relevant, if you have just general PPC questions that you want to ask, then I just ask that you wait until the end of the content, the slides that I will be sharing. So to get going, let's go ahead and just start with the 3 PPC questions that we selected prior to the call today. So Bryson just asked an interesting question about budget allocation, which is pretty important right now during the holidays. I'm interested to know how you allocate budget between sponsored products, sponsored brands, and display DSP. I'm assuming he means sponsored display, which is the topic of today's session. The brands I represent tend to love the bottom funnel, but without a solid top funnel, we struggle with new customer penetration. So this is kind of a indicative of the results that you get from the PPC and why it's important to constantly be in the customer life cycle. So what he's saying is that sponsored products probably have maybe better ROI, but the placements that you get for sponsored brands and even from sponsored display product targeting on product listings are really, really good for top of funnel efforts. So what does that mean? Effectively, to answer your question, Bryson, I'd say there's no set a budget that you should think of for sponsored products versus sponsored display and sponsored brands. It's simply you would want to, whatever your budget is, you should know that you're going to be spending more of that budget on sponsored brands. It's just a more highly valuable and a more visible position in the search results. So it's more expensive, it's premium. So you're always going to pay more to be seen in sponsored brands on a keyword than you would pay for the same keyword in the sponsored products results. So you should just budget accordingly to that. Same thing with sponsored display, product targeting campaigns. The visibility that you get, which I'm going to go over in today's session, on product detail pages of other products, of your competitors, even, it's very, very highly visible under the bullets, under the featured offer. So you definitely are going to also probably pay a premium for those too. So when it comes to budget allocation, it's just a matter of knowing you need to really be seen in all places, because your top of funnel that you're saying that you struggle with is because if you don't put your money towards those top of funnel, those high visibility campaign placements, then you're not getting as many impressions. You're not getting as much branding opportunity as you could by just appearing on the search results pages. So hope that answers that question. If not, feel free to do a follow up. Let's do the next question here. And luckily, these are kind of holiday related, which was nice. Tom says, "Can we use holiday creatives in our enhanced creative or custom images?" So I'm going to go over the enhanced creative in today's session. And custom images is kind of a new thing that Amazon recently launched, where instead of your product and the price point, it's literally just a picture. It could be just a lifestyle image, which is working really, really well. So yes, if you have the time, right now is the perfect time to start doing that. I'm sure people are still looking for gifts for people. So if you theme your creative, uh, whether it be sponsored brands or your, because sponsored brands, you can do custom creative, sponsored display, you can also do custom creative. Definitely worthwhile. Just remember to turn the holiday creative off after the holidays. You don't want, Christmas specific type imagery to be shown, the week after Christmas. Definitely not after the first of the year, I would say, is when you would want to remember to just switch that off. So Amazon does not have any rules against that kind of imagery. It just needs to it still needs to be approved. So there's definitely an approval process for all images that you do want to put into your advertisements. So just make sure to follow those guidelines and you should be okay. All right. The last question is from Beth. What is the advantage of using Atomic if I wanted to launch new campaigns ahead of the holidays? So, if you're a new seller, with which Beth, might probably is, a lot of people might think it's too late to kind of jump into PPC. I definitely do not agree with that. You should jump into PPC if you haven't already, as soon as possible, especially if you haven't done so right now and you have a new product. So yes, using Atomic versus using Seller Central, it's going to be the advantage is that we're going to create some campaigns for you all at once. For sponsored products, the primary campaigns that we do suggest are your auto campaign. So basically letting Amazon choose the ASINs and keywords that your product's going to be targeted to, and then a broad match keyword campaign, an exact match keyword campaign, and a product targeting campaign. So you're basically going to be able to create all of those campaigns at once, those four main campaigns that we do suggest. And if you are sponsored, or sorry, if you're brand registered, you can also at the same time in Atomic build out your sponsored brand campaign and your sponsored display product targeting campaign all at once. So there's definitely an advantage if you're starting out fresh to using Atomic, in that you can create all your campaigns a lot quicker. And if you do that, then you're going to have rules already built into those campaigns that are going to help you uh, locate search terms that are performing for you, that maybe you can target manually, or search terms that are wasting money or have really high ACoS that are you can cut by making them negative. So definitely those are the advantages of using Atomic right now if you need to do something in a rush. So I do see a question here about brand registry. So uh, Aisha, uh, or Aisha, that's I love that name. So brand registry is second tier, no, I'd say third tier kind of level that you can do as a seller. It does require you to do a trademark. It does require several steps in order to get brand registered, but we do definitely recommend that you do so, not only because of all the advantages that you do have for it to take your brand and protect your brand, uh, as far as helping assistance if you've got people that are trying to steal your listing. Brand registered definitely helps in those types of instances. But from my perspective, the biggest benefit of brand registry is the ad placements that you get, which is sponsored brands and sponsored display, which I'll talk about in this session. If you want to get more information on brand registry, there's lots of tutorials and articles that they do have on helium10.com. So I would suggest even going to our blog, helium10.com, looking at the blog and putting in brand registry. And I'm positive you're going to see some content there specific to how you get that set up and additional information. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the slides, the content, and let's see. I'm gonna make sure I go into presentation mode for you guys, and perfect. So, again, what are sponsored display ads? This is kind of just the overview of what we're going to cover today, and then some strategies for sponsored display product targeting ads specifically, and then some enhanced creative and overall lift case studies that we did this year to highlight, the effects of sponsored display product targeting, and then some post-holiday sponsored display strategies. These are some new audience targeting and remarketing efforts that are pretty new to Amazon that I want you guys to be aware of so you can take advantage of post holiday. So, sponsored display ads, what are they? Why are they important? There's a lot of information on this page, this slide that I got from Amazon. As usual, they like to complicate things when you ask for something, but this is basically just saying there are two types of sponsored display campaigns. There's product targeting and there's audience targeting. Product targeting is what I'm going to talk about primarily, but it's the audience targeting that I'm going to hit at the end for your post marketing strategy. So all of these have the same kind of objective or goal, which is to provide additional visibility, product consideration, and hopefully conversion from the placements that you're going to see that I'm going to share. The ad placements, again, product targeting is on product detail pages only, and it could show up in other places across um, Amazon, maybe a homepage or things like that. Essentially, the sponsored display product targeting campaigns take advantage of the DSP placements. So if you've got a really good converting product targeting sponsored display campaign, sometimes you'll get additional placements other than the detail pages, which I'm going to share with you primarily today. Um, the audiences is the off Amazon. Well, it's on and off, off Amazon, which can be a little confusing. But let's just say the audience targeting is the only one where you can target people off of Amazon. And that, again, might be something to consider after the holiday rush when you've got a lot of potential new sellers or shoppers that have been looking at your products. Maybe some have bought, maybe some haven't, and you can use audience targeting in order to take advantage and remarket to those people. Eligibility, again, very important. You have to be a vendor or seller that is brand registered. So across the board, everything that I'm going to be sharing today is for brand registered sellers only. So sponsored display, I like to think of them as kind of billboards on the side of the road as the reason why they help improve discoverability and conversion. So if you think about a billboard on the side of the road that you're driving by or maybe walking by, if you're walking more, chances of remembering every ad that you saw in the past 24 hours is probably pretty slim, unless it's a product that's actually really relevant to you. But even if it's not relevant, the more repetition, the more times you pass that particular billboard, it's going to eventually going to be something that you do remember, and it might become top of mind. Now, and that's the important piece. So the sponsored display ads, they're like a billboard on another person's listing that help ingrain your product in the shopper's minds as an alternative to the product that they're looking at on that particular product detail page. So this is important if you've got people that are trying to make a decision right away. They might look at your ad on that detail page and click over because yours might be more competitive, which I'll talk about. Or they might just be browsing. And even for people that are browsers, if they're landing on a detail page that's interesting and they see your ad enough, again, it might ingrain your product in their mind and they might click over to your ad. So sponsored display product targeting allows you to appear on other listings. This is the primary benefit of sponsored display. And you can see in this image that you get very prime locations right under the featured offer, which is the a buy box. We're trying Amazon's moving to featured offer versus the buy box, and you get that placement right below the bullets. So this is again prime locations, prime real estate on a listing. And in this example, you can see that the ads are for completely different products than what is on this detail page, which is a product called Bear Grips. A newer placement that you can get now, it used to be that you could only get this placement with adding a custom image or adding a custom logo, which I'll go into, but that's no more. So this is a newer top placement called Amazon Top Stripe. As you can see, it's just a little strip. It's right under, or right at the top, I should say, of a product listing, and it's visible on desktop and on mobile, as you can see to the right. So your ads could appear on this very highly visible placement if you do sponsor display product targeting campaigns, which is very, very powerful, again, because it's the first thing that people see. Similar to a sponsored brand ad in the search results, this is the first thing that shoppers see when they're landing on a product detail page. So just to review key benefits of sponsored display ads, unlike any other campaign type, sponsored display ads are the only ones with all four of these. Number one, allows advertisers to appear on product detail pages with an ad creative potentially above the fold. And above the fold simply means I didn't have to scroll down on either of the two examples I gave you. I didn't have to scroll down the page in order to see the ads. I saw them right away without having to do anything, which is very important. And that's what above the fold means. You can also display any deal or savings or coupon badges in the ad creative. So if you're using coupons, which you should, especially right now, or if you've got a lightning deal that you were able to get, it's going to show as well in that creative to give it even more power. And it allows advertisers to target broader categories and refine the results by price, brand rating, and more, which I'm going to go into detail. And allows for customization of the creative, opening up even more placements. And this is the campaign type that we're going to share. I'm going to share results of the case studies on. So especially right now, or leading up, to the very busy holiday season, which is actually right now, reevaluating your goals for the holidays to inform your product and category targeting strategies is going to be very important. So let's go into some of those tips. If you have not run product targeting sponsor display campaigns yet, take advantage of the data that you might already have. If you're already running campaigns, hopefully you are running an auto campaign at a bare minimum. Look at your search term report, find ASINs that have performed well for you in that campaign, and then use those same ASINs in your sponsor display product targeting campaigns because they should convert for you if they're converting for you on the auto campaigns. You should also, if you can, if you're brand registered, you should run sponsor product targeting campaigns, not only for sponsored products, but also for sponsored brands. So you can, aside from just an auto campaign, you can run sponsored product targeting campaigns. So just find ASINs using maybe Cerebro to target ASINs that you'd want to use for a product targeting campaign for sponsored products, and then get the results. If you've got ASINs that perform for you, use those as well in your sponsor display product targeting campaigns. You'll definitely also want to run category targeting. This is category targeting is specific to any product targeting campaigns. And if you do that, you can then refine the campaigns to get more brand awareness and establish your product presence among other similar brands or your competitors. Now, if you want to take advantage of category targeting, you definitely want to use the refine feature, which I see many sellers not doing this. And that's going to help you stand out among your competitors, among other products and similar brands. You can also create multiple category targeting campaigns that each focus on different product attributes, like a price or star rating. I'm going to suggest in the next slide that, at least to start, you just do one category that's the closest to your product type, and then do your refinements on that. So this is what it looks like whenever I can. I try to show you guys where things are. Actually was going to do a demo of this, but like many of you, maybe if you discovered today, I could not get into my Seller Central account. So we're just going off of slides today. So category targeting when creating, again, strictly product targeting campaigns that have a category. You're always going to get, typically, if your product has enough data on Amazon side, you're going to get a category suggestion from Amazon all the time. So in this example, we have indoor bike storage. So this is a bike rack product. And so Amazon automatically found the category and suggested that category be indoor bike storage. Now, you'll see there's a target button and the refine button. The target button is definitely more, it's highlighted more. It looks like a button. So you'd probably be tempted just to press that target button, but that's going to accept basically that whole entire category. What I suggest is clicking on that refine button next to the target button, and then you'll see this pop up where you can then refine by brand, price, star rating, and even by prime status. And all these levers can be used to help increase your consideration from other shoppers. So essentially, you want to refine this category by applying a lower star rating than your particular product, or maybe a higher price point than your particular product. So in this example, the bike rack might be $39. So I only want this product then to appear on listings that their products start at $40. So that's more expensive. Or maybe the I only have 4-star rating or on this particular product. So I don't want to be seen on any product, similar product detail pages that are 5-star ratings, because 5-star ratings, that product's going to have a more advantage potentially. Lower price point, again, that product's probably going to have an advantage. So you want to make sure you use that refinement to give you an edge over the product that your ad is appearing on. So additional strategies and tips. Uh, you want to use category and ASIN targeting in the same campaign. So you want to do your research again, maybe using Cerebro or ASIN Grabber or in our Chrome extension. You want to do a set of ASINs and add category. That's the best way to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to running this type of campaign. You could even use multiple categories like a product niche as well as a complementary product. So if your product category is bedding, maybe you want to do bedroom lighting if that's like a category. Obviously, the bedding, if it's for the bedroom, other products in the bedroom might be a complementary product. So you want to launch sponsor display campaigns with, if you have them, 10 plus products and a smaller group of targeting in order to maintain better control over the bids and budgets. So this was a tip that was given to me by Amazon directly. And if you do not have 10 products, of course, you should still test sponsor display product targeting campaigns. But I asked them, why is this? Where does the stat come from? And so they told me that basically they did a survey among US advertisers that had at least 10 ASINs in their sponsor display product targeting campaigns. And they saw that they had on average a 28% lower cost per click and a 20% higher return on investment versus just using one ASIN in that product targeting campaign. So that is where that recommendation or this tip comes from. I wanted to give you guys visibility into that. But again, if you don't have 10 products, don't feel like you can't run this campaign type. All right, so a couple of just additional pro tips. You're going to want to run sponsor display product targeting campaigns. Really, if you have lightning deals, you definitely want to take advantage of this because you're going to get the increased traffic. This is the same with the holiday traffic. We're gonna have, when we have right now, increased holiday traffic. So you definitely want to run sponsor display product targeting campaigns right now to take advantage of that. Lightning deal call out specifically here is because that badge, of course, does appear on that particular product. And you're also going to want to run sponsor display campaigns using your own ASINs. So this is the defensive strategy, which I talked about in 2 weeks ago session. So if you missed that session, we talked about defensive strategies ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which was literally 2 weeks ago. And effectively, you want to, if somebody needs to appear on that product detail page in those placements that I showed you above the ad at the top, below the bullets, and below the buy box. So it might as well be your product that's shown there, especially if you've got multiple products, maybe even similar products. You can cross sell your products in that space instead of letting a competitor show up in that space. So One final tip that I want to highlight for you guys. Again, this is taking advantage of the ASIN grabber, like I mentioned with our Chrome extension. If you do not have our Chrome extension, definitely make sure it's free to download. So make sure you get our Chrome extension. It's got a lot of cool things that you can do with it. This is one of them. So this tip is specifically for, it might be expensive for you to rank for the keywords that you want to rank for. So if you've done a good job, looked at Cerebro, looked at Magnet, you've really isolated the keywords that you really want to rank for. Some of them might be pretty expensive. So this tip basically is just saying, look at the top keywords that you want to rank for, and then target those products that are appearing on that page, because obviously the products that are appearing are paying, maybe very high through the roof to be seen, and they're doing a good job because they're being seen in the top positions. So if sellers are clicking on those ads, you want to be seen on that product detail page. So just, really quickly in this example, let's say that crutches for adults is the keyword that you want to rank for. But let's say it's really, really expensive. So you look at crutches for adults. Again, that's the keyword you want to rank for. But instead, you're just looking at the products that appear on the results page. You're looking over, or you're clicking on the Helium 10 Chrome extension and using ASIN Grabber, and then basically pulling all those ASINs up, and then targeting those ASINs that appear to take advantage of the products that are visible for that particular keyword. So creating sponsor display campaigns in Atomic, I just wanted to highlight that you can do that. As I mentioned at the beginning, one advantage is that you can create all three campaign types at once. You can just create a sponsor display campaign if you wanted to, but for brand registered sellers, again, only brand registered can get sponsor brand or sponsor display. ASIN targeted sponsor display campaigns only. So it's only the product targeting type. It's not the audience targeting or remarketing campaigns that I'm going to talk about in a minute. Again, you're going to automatically create rules to receive in converting those ASINs, and also create negative ASINs for you as well based on the results. And again, you can create sponsored products, sponsor brands, and sponsor display campaigns all at the same time if you really wanted to. So technically, you could create 6 campaigns all at once just using our one campaign builder. All right, now let's go into the case studies using custom creative with sponsor display, product, and category targeting. So these are a couple campaigns that I did earlier this year. And the first one is we wanted just to test what the product targeting campaign standard setup is versus the enhanced creative. So we wanted to do this with a company or with a user that has never done sponsor display campaigns before. So we found this user, SteadyRack. They launched their first ever sponsor display campaigns in late 2020 using both the enhanced creative and identical ones without the enhanced creative. So the standard creative is A, and the one with the enhanced is B. And you can see the difference is simply that you have their logo and you have a little tagline here, the ultimate space saving solution, versus the one above it. So when you're testing new or different creative, it's always a good idea to do an A/B test like this. And that can help you determine which version is going to do the best for you. You could test different approved, they have to be approved logos by Amazon, or you can try different headlines to see what shoppers respond to. And the headlines also need to be approved by Amazon. So you can't put anything in there like free or a deal or anything like that. So make sure when you're doing this, you adhere to the logo requirements and the headline or tagline requirements as well. So in this example, again, we ran actually 4, so 8 campaigns total. We did 4 of the standard sponsor display campaigns, and we did 4 including the logo and the headline. And these were the results after 6 weeks. The ones that did not have the enhanced creative, basically the standard one A, had sales of 3,402 at a 55% ACoS, which is fairly high. And then the one below B had, with the enhanced creative, had sales of $5,021 at a 34% ACoS. So more sales at a lower ACoS. Effectively, these sponsor display product targeting campaigns with the enhanced creative then achieved a 47% more in sales and 38% less or decrease in ACoS. So now, of course, results will vary by product or category. or even competition for your particular product. So, but all good outcomes are based on regular strategic campaign optimization, which was done on these campaigns, both these sets of campaigns that were running identical. The second sponsored display campaign case study that I want to share with you guys is a newer one. And this is one that we just wanted to see what the overall sales lift was from sponsored display. So, versus not having that in your PPC arsenal. So this particular company had 84 campaigns running when we spoke to them, but they were all sponsored product and they were sponsored brand. So there were no sponsored display campaigns in their set of campaigns at all. So we instructed them to launch 6 new sponsored display product targeting campaigns for each of their workout products, as shown here, but using the updated creative version only. Like we tested the fact from the previous case study that the enhanced creative with the logo here, you see Bear Grips and then the little tagline below it, we know that performed better. So in this one, we just instructed them to build all of the 4 campaigns out with this enhanced creative. And effectively, we just reviewed the 6-week period before those campaigns were launched to the 6-week period after that. And these were the results. So, oh, went up instead of down. So 6-week total PPC sales before launching the sponsor display. Again, just the total PPC sales before doing any sponsor display campaigns at all was 20,372. Now, 6 weeks total PPC sales after launching the sponsor display. So with the additional sales from that, total PPC sales were 27,816. So this is just interesting because we're basically just saying, again, they had a lot of campaigns. They had 84 campaigns running at the time. We added 6 more, so a total of 90 campaigns, and we achieved that much higher in sales. Now, all of these sales weren't just from sponsored display product targeting campaigns. We were looking at overall lift, but without the sponsored display campaigns, we wouldn't have seen this increase. So the results showed a 36% increase in total PPC sales after adding the sponsored display product targeting ads. And again, we controlled this with just standard optimizations. And we also made sure to control it even further that there was no external marketing done to achieve these results. So it was literally apples to apples from having sponsored display campaigns, not having to having the sponsored display campaigns. All right, so now we're going to talk about some post-holiday strategies. So what kind of things that you can do right after the holidays? That's the sponsored display audience, the views remarketing specifically, which covers purchases and not purchases, and then Amazon audiences to re-engage those shoppers. And this is effectively when you're shopping for something on Amazon or even another website, and you leave and you come back and you're in a different part of the web and you see an ad for that same product that you just looked at. So that's kind of what we're talking about here when we say remarketing, either by views or purchases. So what is views remarketing? Views remarketing is essentially they looked at your product, but they didn't buy it. So after the holidays, this is the perfect time to utilize this audience of views remarketing, because you can do specific windows. They can be 7-day, 14, 30, 60, or even a 90-day look back of the shoppers who viewed your product but did not make a purchase. So this could be that they were just browsing for gift ideas, but it could also be they were looking for something for themselves. Maybe they didn't buy at the time because they were too busy buying gifts for other people. So you might want to take advantage of this after the fact. I would say probably a 30-day look back. So maybe sometime in January, mid-January, end of January. That's probably going to be a good sweet spot because it's still going to be kind of top of mind to some of those people, hopefully, that were shopping this month right now. So again, this is a powerful way to engage your product and keep it top of mind by re-engaging those shoppers both on and off Amazon specifically, and then redirecting them back to your product listing. Maybe they weren't ready at the first time they saw it, but they might be after they see it again. Now, this is a newer remarketing, but it's very similar with the caveat that they actually did buy one of your products. So again, after the holidays, you can use the sponsor displays newest audience type, which is purchases remarketing. And it's exactly what it sounds like. They looked at your product or maybe one of your products and they bought something. So you can do the same. Actually, this is a broader look back period that you can do here 7, 14, 30, 60, 90, 160, or even a year. You can do a year look back of shoppers who actually purchased your advertised products, so anything that was bought through a PPC ad, or purchase products related to advertised products. So that's kind of a separate category. But for me, the real important one here is if you've got a suite of products that are all similar, this is really could be potentially very powerful for you because they bought one of your products. Maybe they might be interested in a different version of your products, maybe a different color, maybe just another set of something. Um, Especially if this is a consumable, so a household or personal care item, things that you consume regularly. If you're not doing a subscription service, which you should do, subscribe and save. If you're not doing that, then especially with those types of products, you should know that they've probably used that product in a 30, 60, 90-day period. You can then remarket to them. So this is a very powerful way to cross-sell your products, and even upsell or resell the products that have already been purchased by shoppers and present it, then add to them again, again off Amazon to remind them, oh, hey, I bought that product. I liked that product. I'm going to look at this other product that they have that is similar or relevant to what I bought. So again, shoppers may be ready to purchase your products again after the holiday season, especially if it's a consumable that they've gone through and used. So, Amazon Audiences is the last section that I want to go through to cover. This is also again very new. Launched just in the fall. Amazon Audiences overview. So this is a way to reach and engage relevant audiences using Amazon Ads exclusive segments to drive awareness and consideration. So essentially, Amazon has done the job of creating buckets of shoppers that have certain triggers that lets Amazon know that they might be interested in certain types of products based on the category or segment that Amazon has put them in. So they break up these buying signals by lifestyle, interests, life events, and also in market. And I'll cover each of these after this. But pro tip, really quick up front, is that you can mix and match. Effectively, you can use multiple Amazon audiences or Amazon segments in the same campaign. For example, you can use lifestyle, new to category baby products. So obviously, somebody that has purchased a baby product to reach customers who made their first purchase in baby products in the past 90 days, and life events, new parent. These are two different categories that actually target the same type of consumer. Life events, new parent, to reach customers who recently shopped for baby products on Amazon. So let's go into more detail into what this means. So lifestyle, this simply is an audience or a segment that Amazon has created because they can tell that a shopper has maybe purchased some things that would indicate that they're a college student, or maybe they're just going to school. So they've purchased some things that are relevant, or maybe they have a college or student in their household because they've purchased some things that are similar to that. So what this is saying is the shopper may be looking at a TV in this example. So they're looking at it in electronics. Maybe they want to upgrade their TV this year. But again, since Amazon has identified them as being in the student and collegiate age category because of past purchases, they're gonna add or they're gonna promote your product if it's relevant to that segment. Which in this example, let's say you had a laptop bag or even just a standard backpack. If your product was a backpack, you could be seen to this shopper because Amazon again has identified them as a college age potential student. So it's not relevant to the ad or to the product detail page that you're looking at because the detail page is an electronic. But because of that segmentation, the audience that Amazon has done, this product could still be relevant to that shopper. It's the same thing in the different categories. This one is just what this is based on interest. So audiences whose shopping activity suggests an interest in specific categories. So their shopping activity, obviously, if they're buying a lot of things that are kitchen related, maybe they're upgrading, or maybe they just recently moved. But obviously, if they're buying things that are for the kitchen, then Amazon thinks that they're interested in food and drink activities, right? Maybe cooking specifically. So again, this shopper is looking at electronics, same example, they're looking at a TV, but because Amazon has identified that seller as somebody who would be interested in food and drink, if your product is a pot, in this example, a nonstick saucepan with a lid, if your product is similar to that, then this actually might be a relevant ad for this shopper because they are segmented or they've been identified as a food and drink and cooking interested person. Also, life events, which is the one I did a combo on at the beginning. So this is just audiences with recent activity that would suggest that they've recently moved or they're getting married. I think you can register on Amazon, so that's a clear indication if someone's registered on Amazon that they're getting married. So an example of this audience would be recent movers or maybe even new parent, like we discussed. So again, Amazon's going to identify shoppers that have bought some things around those particular categories. And they can say if they've bought a bunch of moving boxes on Amazon, they're probably going to be moving soon. If they bought a bunch of new baby products, they're probably a new parent. So again, that same shopper might be looking at a TV because they're looking to upgrade their TV, but they know that this is a new parent potentially. So if your product is, in this example, a felt baby diaper, caddy storage, organizer tote. Wow, it's a long title. If you've got a product, then that might be a good shopper to put your ad in front of because again, they've been identified as that new parent potentially. Went up again. In market, this one's a little bit different in that it's based on shoppers' search activity. So if their recent activity suggests they're likely to buy in a certain category. In this example, they're saying, home and garden, do it yourself. So this is a shopper that has done searches around maybe gardening tools. Maybe they've bought seeds on Amazon. I don't even know if you can do that, but obviously shoppers that have done searches for particular products that would lead you to believe or lead Amazon to indicate that this is a person that's interested in gardening. So again, they're considered in the aisle because they have not yet bought those products yet, but Amazon does track the search activity. So keep that in mind when you guys are searching. You're gonna be categorized to get you relevant ads. And in this one, it's saying again, looking at that TV, but they're going to show you an ad if your product is similar to or relevant to gardening. In this example, it's working gloves or gardening gloves. So that's how Amazon audiences can really help you to showcase your products on these product detail pages to shoppers that they've identified that might be interested in your category or your type of product. So, what are the key takeaways? Number one, you want to define your objectives, and you should know what your campaign goals are up front, whether that be just impressions. You're just really trying to get as many eyeballs on your product as possible versus strategically trying to get your ROI improved. Then you're going to create a strategy around that. So once you create a strategy, then you'll be able to optimize and measure success against them. Optimize your product and category targeting strategies. So we just kind of went over all the tips for that, so, how you can do different category strategies that you can implement specifically by using the refine feature. So control category targeting by adding filters. Also use sponsored products auto campaigns. Again, if you're not running auto campaigns, you're missing out on a real big opportunity to get ASINs because Amazon's done a really good job lately of targeting ASINs to auto campaigns that you can then leverage and use for your sponsored display campaigns. Oops, down too fast. Test with custom headlines, logos, and custom images. So again, similar to what I shared in the first case study, if you're not sure if something's going to work, then test it. It might be more beneficial right now just to launch with custom headlines, logo, or the creative, the custom images, since we're so close to Christmas. But either way, if you do some testing, you're going to deepen your understanding of how the shopper is interacting with your particular product based on what ad that they're seeing. Again, finally, just make sure you're using those Amazon audiences, those last slides that I just showed you. They are new, but they definitely have the power to reach relevant audiences this holiday and after the holidays through those categories I shared: lifestyle, interest, life events, and those in-market potential shoppers using those audience segments. And again, you can mix and match. You can use multiple strategies in one campaign. And then finally, of course, we'd love for you to use Helium 10 tools as much as possible to manage those advertising campaigns. So if you, hopefully you have Atomic. If you're watching this PPC Tacos Tuesdays were based on you having Atomic, but if you don't have Atomic because you're not yet Diamond, we want to have or offer you this special offer right now. So we're doing a package of 50% off Diamond. If you are not a Diamond member, Diamond is the only one that includes, or sorry, the first membership level that includes Atomic, which is our PPC management tool. So that is why we're doing 50% off that. But as a bonus, we're doing a 3-part training series covering more advanced PPC topics that I'm going to be doing. One starts today. You'll see here actually, and at 11:30, so coming up really quick. So obviously, you probably wouldn't get to be able to take advantage of that one, but we have session 2 and session 3 coming up next in January, and then again in February. And that's really where I'm going to go over more advanced things, anyways, with Atomic. Today's is more going to be an overview for people that are brand new to the tool. So if you wanted to take advantage of that, make sure you click on this link, the join today link, which is helium10.com/SD holiday. Hopefully we can put that into the chat so that you guys can click on that and check out that landing page. And that offer does expire on December 15th. So coming up pretty quickly. So make sure you take advantage of that if you want to. And that is it for the slides. So I feel bad that I actually was just looking at the slides and not your questions as they might have appeared, because it would took up my entire screen. So, but we've got 8 minutes here, so let's just see if we've got some good questions that I can answer for you. Am good. How useful is it to have our own ASINs in the campaign's defensive strategy? What I am facing is I have 10 different items under the same category. Shoppers click on an ASIN through a PPC key and buy our different items. Please advise. So, am good. Why is that bad? You're describing something that does happen, but it's not necessarily bad. So think about it this way: would you rather have your product detail pages with somebody else's ads on your page? No, of course not, because that has the potential for them to take that shopper away, which is what I share with you that you should be trying to do with your competitors. But you should also be trying to protect your own real estate. So definitely take a look at the AMA that I did just 2 weeks ago on defensive strategies. The whole training was on that. We do have all of these sessions recorded and stored in our on YouTube. There's actually a playlist for Tacos Tuesday. Maybe we can put that up. But yeah, you definitely want to do that because again, having your own products there, you've got 10 plus products. You definitely want to cross sell those products if you can, versus a competitor showing up in those spots. And you're always going to be faced with the challenge that you just put on here, regardless of if you do defensive strategy or not. You're going to have a PPC campaign running for maybe one particular color or size of something. People will land on your listing. Maybe you have the other sizes or colors of your product on the same detail page, and then they buy a different item. So that's always going to happen. The PPC sale is going to get attributed to the ad that you, or the product that you're advertising. So let's say it's red gloves. The PPC sale is going to get attributed to that, but the actual product that was sold was black gloves. So the actual dollar amount is going to be attributed to the product that you actually was actually purchased. Either way, they're buying your product. So all you have to do is basically use your total sales and tacos metrics, if you have access to Atomic, to just track that. You can very easily, using analytics or product level, you can very easily see how much PPC spend is happening on a particular product versus how much total sales there actually are for that product. And that lets you know, oh, hey, I'm putting all my money on the red gloves, but the black gloves are actually the ones that are selling. So I'm going to transfer my budget to black gloves just from the onset, because that's a top seller. So hopefully that answers your question there. Jake says that seems pretty awesome for new product launches that are similar to the item purchased. Yes, exactly. So we didn't go into so another category that's there other than purchase your product is the option to hit a category of people that purchased a similar product. So this is all located in, again, if I had access to Seller Central, I would show you guys, but it's all located when you're building a sponsored display campaign. There's now two different options. You have product targeting and you have audiences. When you click on audiences, it'll give you all the different categories that I shared with you. You can click on each one of them. They each have tooltips that you should read through so you can get even more detail that I gave you. But yeah, not only can you target if they've purchased your product, but you can target them if they purchase something very, very similar to you. So pretty powerful. Definitely something I would think to take advantage of for brand new sellers, as you mentioned. All right, let's see. Uh, is there any other questions? This video I'll be watched later from the start. Looks like you guys are chatting with each other. Yeah, ask any questions that you want to. I am answering. Right. All right. So if there is not any other questions, make sure that you, if you think of questions after the fact, again, you can shoot a question over to ppcama at helium10.com. And again, this is not an email that you will get a reply to. This is an inbox only email, but they do get to me, and I do look at those, see which questions that I can answer ahead of these episodes. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, again, the next session is Tuesday, February 1st, so the first Tuesday of February. And so if you do send questions between now and then, I will look at them, but they will not be answered until that session. So, but still feel free to send them, and especially if there's topic ideas that you'd like us to cover. Always interested in those ideas as well. In fact, the defensive strategy session that I did last 2 weeks ago was based on requests from users going into that more deeply, which we definitely did do. All right, so if that is it, thank you guys so much for joining us today in this last Tacos Tuesday of the year. And hopefully, you guys have a wonderful holiday selling season and just a wonderful holiday season in general with your friends and family. Lots of love to you guys, and I'll see you next year. Bye.